Shakur Stevenson is returning to the ring in July. Says he's the best fighter in boxing. Well, let's talk a little bit about that.
Push the weight and now flex the live is 1 in the 6. Fit the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to him out of LDBC. Okay. So Shakur is making his ring return, I think July 6th. He's returning to the ring. Yeah. He says he's the best fighter in boxing. Now, let me say this. I enjoy watching his work in the ring. To say that the kid can't fight, although he gets on my nerves, you know, with the out of the ring antics and his decision making, that has nothing to do with what I see in the ring. He is skill wise, he's one of the best fighters to date in the ring. He is a technician. He says he's the best fighter in boxing. I mean, look, he's supposed to talk like that. Unfortunately, he has a lot of criticism that he had to deal with. If you remember, he fought Edwin De Los Santos November 17th. That was in Las Vegas, I believe. And if you go back and watch that fight, they were booing Shakur because, you know, now let me explain something to you. They weren't booing Edwin De Los Santos because he was in pursuit. He was in pursuit, and Edwin couldn't catch him. He couldn't catch him. He was showing up to try and take his head off, and Shakur outboxed him. Unfortunately, that made for a boring fight. And, you know, these fans today, they're more fickle than they was 5 years ago. And that's just what it is. He won the fight, but lost the war because he got criticized. He got the win. Now, last time this happened, I remember watching ESPN. I forget who he was fighting. It escapes me right now. But they were booing him, and Tim Bradley even ripped him. Oh, man, you're supposed to close the show and this, that, and the third. Now, I remember I did a video saying, well, I think I did a video, but if I either did a video or I spoke on it, I said, man, look, the kid got the win. Now, to me, that does matter. That does matter. But in this era of boxing, you also gotta entertain. You understand? The thing with Floyd Mayweather was that in spots in his fights, he did entertain, and sometimes it was his opponent that was in pursuit trying to take his head off, and they couldn't do it. So there was some mystique there. But Shakur's not at that level where he could fight somebody that also has the potential to take his head off, but they just can't take his head off, in which they'll admire every punch missing the top of his head or missing the body. But Shakur is not that popular yet where he can sell that. And I think actually Floyd, he done absorbed all of that mystique. That type of fight, in my opinion, can't be sold anymore. Floyd, and that's it. No one's putting up with that ever again. You have to have a combination of both. And what Shakur has shown is that he's a defensive, dare I say, he's a technician defensively, you know, but not like Floyd. He doesn't sit in the pocket as much as Floyd. With De Los Santos, he wouldn't dare stand there. And it was a fox chasing a rabbit. And it made for a stinker fight. As this is what people were saying. They didn't like it. They didn't like the performance. And De Los Santos was trying to force the issue, and Shakur ran. Now, he got the win. Now, normally I'd say F that. You know, you got the win. But they criticized this kid so much, he just got mad at the world, man. He took to Twitter and was going off and everything else. And then, or Twitter or X or whatever y'all saying. And then he posts, what was it, January? I'm officially retired from the sport of boxing. I'll be in the gym, forever perfecting my craft. And what do you say? Something about helping the next line of fighters become great and chase their dreams. But he says I ain't messing with boxing. It's a weak game. Well, Shakur has allowed himself to blame for this. All right, a lot of these wounds are self-inflicted. It started in the Olympics. He got a silver medal where he should have got a gold because he went in there and he dropped the ball. Remember that scene? And I'm not making fun of the kid, man. I'm beyond that at this point. That famous video of him crying, I don't like to lose. Remember that? I said, man, he could have won that fight. I watched that. I said, man, this kid, but he's gonna be really great if he does the right thing. And he got in there and he's winning, but people are not. They're sick of it. Now you made some bad decisions, business decisions. You could have fought Devin Haney. And I'm not going to harp on this too long. I'm just going to give you the accelerated version. The accelerated version is you could have fought Devin Haney. In one fight, you had the opportunity to fight Devin and win 4 belts. You had a lot of that. A lot of the scales was tipped in your favor. All right? And I mean scales, meaning literally. You said Devin Haney was going to be drained because everyone knew he had a problem making 135, but he always made it. You remember that? He was going to be weight drained. You're going to see the most money that you've ever seen in your career at that time. Right? What else? Weight drain, money. Say weight drain. The money was, but you declined it because of the 35%. You declined it because of the 35%, man. You did that. And then when Frank Martin, when we thought that fight was going to happen, Frank, when he did the math, he said, wait a minute, I'm walking away with the same money that I've made. Y'all can't throw a cherry on top of that? I can't get a little more money? And y'all said no, and that fight ain't happen. So what makes it okay for you to say, yo, 35% I'm worth more, and you declining an undisputed matchup against a drained fighter? But that's okay, but Frank Martin asking for a little more money, that wasn't okay? So what I'm saying is Shakur's made some decisions that he has to live with. Then you get in there with De Los Santos in a stinker. So all of these things was happening to him in 2023. Now going into 2024, now we're waiting to see what he does next. You could have fought a drained Devin Haney. Your first time on pay-per-view. But it wasn't enough money. Now what you got? A stinker against De Los Santos. A failed fight against Frank Martin. Now Frank Martin is fighting Tank. He ain't complaining about money. So where does that leave you? Now you're saying you're coming back on July 6th. I'd love to see you back. But who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? So in the WBC, you're the champion. In my opinion, you should have been fighting Gervonta Tank Davis because at y'all level, there is no light work. Y'all should have been unifying, but I ain't even going to go there. So the IBF and the WBO is now vacant. Number 1 is not rated, but George Kambosos is there, but I know he already ducked you. Matter of fact, George Kambosos' father told you to take 25%. I'm sorry, 35% that Devin offered you. You didn't do it. WBO. Number 1, Dennis Bernchek. Ain't no money in that, right? Don't tell me you're going to fight those guys, but you wouldn't take 35% from Devin Haney. Where does that leave you? William Zepeda, who's ranked number 1 in the WBC and the WBA? Raymond Muratalla? Oh, wait. Let's go all the way down here. Number 3, Keyshawn Davis. He just fought, won by knockout. He's available. Can we get that? That's a grudge match. All right. If you're not going to fight Zepeda, Frank Martin's busy, and we're looking at the WBA. Edwin De Los Santos is right there, number 3. Floyd Scarfield's right behind him. Pause. Maxie Hughes just lost to George Kambosos. She didn't want to do that. ranked number 5 in the WBC. Right? I just said Keyshawn Davis in WBC, he's ranked number 3. Frank Martin's number 4. They're busy. Edwin De Los Santos is number 5. All right. Number 6 is Maxie Hughes. Like I said, he just lost to George Kambosos. And who's behind him? Pause. Number 7, Dennis Berichek, who's ranked number 1 in the WBO. So you don't want to go that far down. Do you want to rematch Edwin De Los Santos? Do you want to do that? Or do you want to just jump up and fight Keyshawn Davis? Can you do something? You're a champion, Shakur. Ain't no light work. See, listen, man, all of these things, and this ain't a diss video at all. This is not a diss video. All I'm asking is, when you come back in July, what are you going to do? You're a champion. You're a champion, Shakur. You're the WBC champion. And if you're going to fight WBC competition, you have options. You mentioned Vasily Lomachenko, but the word on the block is Loma and George, they're about to do a blockbuster because they got countries behind them. So let's see what those Christian brothers are going to do. Yeah, y'all know why I said that. So we could leave them alone. What you going to do, man? Keyshawn Davis and you, that sells seats. Keyshawn called out Tiafimo, but you already know what time it is with that. So I'm all for Keyshawn Davis or a rematch with Edwin De Los Santos. It's as simple as that. Don't come back and give me some ham and egg. There's no light work at this point. I'm for this as a pay to work. I'm for the Davis work. Look, all right, Raymond Muratalla at number 2. I'll take that. But you have options, Shakur. So when you come back, give me something. Zepeda, Muratalla, Keyshawn Davis, or a rematch with De Los Santos. I'd like to see the De Los Santos rematch. Get that right. Because, you know, every time Floyd lost, I'm sorry, Floyd didn't never lose in the ring. Every time Floyd had a tight fight, he had to run it back. So run it back with Edwin. If not, give me Keyshawn. That sells some seats. But, you know, it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Bronx on deck.
Move!